This is an FRG ministry production with the support of our ministry partners and donors.
It is tough, it's hard, it's difficult to follow Jesus. It's even more difficult to trust in Jesus. Now, you can follow Jesus without trusting Jesus, but that's not enough. If you follow Jesus, you need to learn to trust him. And there are three things that we see from this gospel that you need to do in order to learn to trust the Lord. Let me go through each one of them, trying to explain this and see how you can apply this to your life. Number one, to trust Jesus, you need to recognize Jesus. They were on their boat and they were terrified, they were scared, they were living in the storm, they were living through this confusion. Then they see what they think is a ghost. But eventually, of course, they recognize Jesus. That is where things start to change. They see Jesus walking on the water. They recognize Jesus. Here's the question for you. In your life, do you stop? Do you look? Do you contemplate enough to recognize Jesus? Or the minute the storm comes, you've lost all sight of God and you turn to your addictions, you turn to your anger, you turn to your frustration. So through the storm, make sure you're making time to spend time recognizing Jesus. God, where are you through this storm? And I can tell you, I can guarantee you, he is there. That's number one, recognize Jesus. Number two, listen to Jesus and get out of the boat. Here's the thing, that takes guts. That takes courage. Jesus tells us to step out in faith, to give to the poor, to reach out, to forgive, to be able to do things in our business, in our work, in our family. That takes a lot of courage. And here's the thing, getting out of the boat takes illogical courage. It was not logic for Peter to walk on the water. It made no sense. The only logic there was that Jesus was doing it first. And sometimes we need to trust Jesus even though we don't understand it, even though it seems impossible. And here's the other thing as well, is that his feet got wet. His feet didn't stay dry. He had to get uncomfortable in stepping out of the boat. That's number two. And number three is to recognize that even when you step out in faith, sometimes things fail. You mess up and you start to sink. And what did Peter do? He cried out, Lord, save me. Lord, save me. And what did Jesus do? He didn't walk away and say, no, sorry, I gave you a chance and that's it. No. He reached out to him and he put him back in the boat. But his life was changed forever because he walked on water. He trusted in Jesus. He's the only apostle. He's the only person I know of in all of history who walked on water as a human being. You see, this is when we trust the Lord, this is how our lives are changed. We don't need to get it right every time. We don't need to get it 100% perfect. All we need to do is to trust in the Lord. The Lord has asked you to trust him, to follow him, but also to trust in him. Get out of the boat, trust in him, walk on the water, and cry out to the Lord to save you, even when you mess up after you've stepped out in faith.
This production is only made possible because of the generous support of FRG Ministry partners and donors. Please go to frgministry.com/donate to make a donation.